Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. We have a member of the Rotary Club of Winchester back on the show with us today, and shockingly enough, it is not Tootie Rinker. He doesn't even look anything like Tootie Rinker. I'm happy to tell you that Dan Abel is joining me today. We are going to talk about the healing fields of honor. Anyone who has ever been through Winchester over Memorial Day, you can't not drive by Handley High School and see the magnificent display of all of those American flags. Dan's going to tell us more today about why the Rotary Club does it, how it all comes together. And Dan, I'm fascinated to find out the backstory for all of this because I've always seen them there, but I had no idea how they get there or why they're there.
Janet, first of all, thanks. This all started coming out of COVID, and the Rotary Club, everybody was locked down, was how do we bring the community together? And particularly, as you recall, as we were coming out of COVID, May was about the perfect time frame that people were allowed to go back to public venues and things like that. And so 5 years ago, the Rotary Club of Winchester said, what if we did a healing field of honor, which would bring the American flags out? And you talked about what a stunning sight it is to see 800 American flags on Winchester's front yard, which is what I call Handley. But even the backstory behind that is folks sponsor those flags, and there's a tag on them that represents a hero in their life. And so not only are there 800 flags out there, but if you walk up, there'll be a tag that'll say, this is for Grandpa Joe, who went to Normandy and never came back from his granddaughter. And then the folks that sponsor these flags, when the event's over, they take the flag home. They get the flag, the pole, the rebar that goes in the ground so they can put it in their own yard if they want. So it really is the healing field of honor for our heroes. And heroes can be veterans, first responders, a single parent, a nurse that got you through cancer, somebody that had a hospice that helped grandma and grandpa in their final days. You define what a hero is, and either you can dedicate an entire flag and take it with you, but we've also got folks that have said, gosh, 5 years in a row, I got flags. I don't need any more. Can I just dedicate a flag? And you can adopt a flag. It's $25 and we'll print up the tag. And then when the event's over, you get the tag to take home. And Janet, I'll tell you, one of the coolest jobs over the weekend as we do this is folks will come out and say, hey, I bought a flag online. Where is it? And it's in a grid pattern. And so on a computer, we'll check and we'll say, okay, Janet, your grandpa is M16. And so as we walk you out to your flag, Janet, you're going to tell me about this person in M16. You're going to say, this was my grandfather. This is where he served. He came right out of VMI. He went into the Army. He never came. And it just gets to your heart because you're walking among 800 American flags that are flapping in formation, and you're hearing about a hero directly from a loved one. There's so many levels of specialness that goes on with this healing field. So that's where we started.
It makes perfect sense now why you've done it year after year for 5 years, because like you said, after you do that first year, how can you not continue to do it again and again?
And some things remain the same. So we have a big kickoff ceremony on this year. It's May 22nd. It's the Thursday before Memorial Day. And the reason we do that is folks usually have something they got to do on the Friday Memorial Day. So if we pick Thursday, okay, we can probably make it out there. We'll have obviously a flag ceremony, the national anthem, and then we do the service medley where folks stand when they sing their particular service song for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard. And then we're going to have a flyover C-17 coming from Martinsburg, comes low right over, and it's a big plane. And then we get skydivers at the end that drop in. And then at that point, we lose total control of the ceremony because everybody wants to high five of the skydivers that come in. And then Monday on Memorial Day, at 3 o'clock is when that kicks off. This is on the 26th, is when we tear down the flags. But there's a ceremony at 3 o'clock, a little more solemn. We're going to have a patriotic sing-along there. We're going to ring a bell for any Gold Star families that are in the field. Those are folks that were lost in their military time. And then we're going to narrate the 13 folds. I'll be honest, I've never seen this before. But as you fold the American flag into a triangle, every fold means something. And the VFW is going to work with us on that. And then at that point, folks can go ahead and go into the field, take their flags, and we wish them well. But every year we did it, we're like, we got to do something new because it can't just be lather, rinse, repeat of what we did. We got to do something new. So we've grown the event. This year, there is a motorcycle memorial ride. Those people meet at 4 p.m. on May 22nd. That's the Thursday again before Memorial Day. They leave at 4. They'll do all sorts of stuff through the gorgeous Shenandoah Valley. When they get to the Winchester city limits, the motorcycle cops from Winchester will join them. They will then process into the ceremony. Mission Barbecue's got their deuce and a half, and we have the flags lined up for them to grab because we don't want them driving around with it holding on to an American flag. They will process into the field. They will post their flags. They'll do a right face, and they will render honors for the national anthem. So they're actually part of the ceremony. Two more cool things we're doing. One is after our third year, folks said, hey, you say you love veterans. What are you doing for them? Well, we raise money for them, and we'll talk about who the beneficiaries are. But can we do more? And last year, we created, it's called the Heroes Hill. Because if you notice coming into Handley, there's a little bit of a hill that goes up to Handley Boulevard, just a little bit. And we invited the 10 most impactful veteran servicing organizations we could. And they came out. This year, we're going to have 20. So if you come out for the service on Thursday at 6 o'clock, actually anytime Thursday afternoon, and we see you and it says, I served in the Navy or a proud Army vet, and we say to you, hey, are you all set with the Veteran Administration? Are you getting your benefits? And if they say, nah, I just didn't have the time, we say, all right, soldier, about face, walk to that tent right there. That is the Veterans Administration. Make an appointment. This group here is Heroes on the Hill. They can take you fly fishing down the Shenandoah River. All these groups are here in a tent to serve the veterans because we see a lot of veterans that come out for the event. So that's another way that we're expanding the ceremony. And then the last thing we're doing is we've got a stage, we've got a sound system, and we've got seating on Thursday for the ceremony at 6, ends around 7. Gosh darn it, we got to do something with all that. So Jimmy Lee, who's a local performer, is going to do a concert until sunset afterwards. And the big news this year, too, is Navy Federal, that's always been a very good supporter financially and with volunteers, has really stepped up this year. So it is the Rotary Club of Winchester's Healing Field of Honor presented by Navy Federal, because they really have become a huge, huge help this year with the program. So every year it continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I think Navy Federal realized for Memorial Day weekends in the Shenandoah Valley, North Shenandoah Valley, this has become the big deal to put the right kind of memories in Memorial Day.
I completely agree with you too about Navy Federal. Several of my dear friends work at Navy Federal. I'm the board chair for United Way, Northern Shenandoah Valley, and Navy Federal is a massive partner for us. One of their people, Beth Fallu, plans our entire day of caring, and they send somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 volunteers to help us with that day because they get what it means to be a part of your community and they want to give back to all the people that live here. So this just fits right smack dab in the middle of their wheelhouse.
Yep, absolutely. And let me talk a little bit about our beneficiaries, because while we don't do it as a fundraiser, it does raise money. It's a community building event is really the primary reason we did it. But we do get corporate sponsors and we do charge for the flags, and that all goes to charity. This year we chose two of them. One is the Northern Shenandoah Valley Community Veterans Engagement Board. It's a really long term. These Veterans Engagement Boards are created by the Veterans Administration, but they're not run by the vet. They are to pull together all the folks in the Northern Shenandoah Valley that service veterans so that when somebody comes and says, I have this need or that need as a veteran or a veteran's family, somebody knows where to find that particular niche. I need transportation to a medical thing. Okay, we got somebody who does that. They're just sponsoring a Tech for Troops, which is they found somebody that's sponsoring, you get a laptop, you get a cyber literacy course and financial literacy course. And we connect them so that for job search, now they got a laptop, and so many jobs now, if you're working at home, you need a computer to work from. So those are the types of things that the Veterans Engagement Board does. They're one beneficiary. The other one is the Winchester Fire and Rescue Foundation, which supports our first responders here in Winchester, which a lot of volunteers doing that, and they're so happy. We just heard from them yesterday. The funds will help support. They do a Bagels with the Brave on June 15th, where you bring yourself and your kids down to the fire station and they can climb around the fire trucks and have bagels with the firemen, and they get to realize what it's like to be a first responder. They bought ceremonial uniforms for the firefighters because they're asked to do, just like for the ceremony, to do honor guard, fire guard, or color guard stuff. Those uniforms cost money. They bought those. So those two organizations are going to be the benefactors of the money to raise this year, the Veterans Engagement Board and Winchester Fire and Rescue.
I did not know that the Veterans Engagement Board existed. So when we're done recording today, I need you to give me their contact info so I can get them on a radio show.
Absolutely. They are a phenomenal, because they are the connective tissue. Because I'm a veteran myself. There are so many folks out there offering things to veterans. It overwhelms you almost with when I retired from the military, where do I get this? How do I get help? Because there's so many out there, and they are the clearinghouse. And they said a lot of times it's a last resort where whoever they're working with says, we just don't provide that. That's not our niche. Then you call the Veteran Engagement Board. They go, I got a guy or I got a gal that knows how to do that, and they connect them.
It's very much like your Heroes Hill on steroids.
Yeah, absolutely. And candidly, the Veteran Engagement Board they're the folks that book the talent for the Heroes Hill. Because we said we shouldn't pick and choose. We said pick the 10 last year and 20 this year, most impactful. He said, boy, it's going to be tough to limit it to 20 this year because everybody wants to come out to be on Heroes Hill.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about how the community as a whole plays into this, because they are invited to come and attend. I want to talk a little bit about whether it's too late for them to financially support this particular project. Can we do all that in the next segment?
Absolutely.
We are on the Zooms today recording with Dan Abel. He is with the Rotary Club of Winchester. We are talking about the Rotary Club of Winchester's Healing Field of Honor presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. We're going to come back and learn more about that in just a couple of minutes.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Kim. We would love to meet you at our new Winchester Cider Works tasting room on East Piccadilly Street in Old Town.
That's right, we'll be downtown with great ciders, wine, food and even beer. And the best part is, we're so excited to be part of this brand new passport program where you just need 4 stamps from Winchester area breweries and cideries to get some great free swag.
So pop by our tasting room and we'll get you a passport. You can find out more information at winchesterbrewtrail.com.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. We are on the Zooms today talking with Dan Abel. Dan is a member of the Rotary Club of Winchester. We're talking about their Healing Field of Honor presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. It happens every year for the last 5 years, Memorial Day weekend. So, Dan, I have to tell you, when you were talking about all of the things that go into putting this together and the tags that are on the flags, as someone who I'm almost ashamed now to admit has only ever driven by and seen it from afar, it means so much more now that I know what the backstory is, and I feel like I know who these people are that these flags represent.
Yeah. So if folks are interested, a couple ways that you can do it. One is healingfieldwinchester.com, and that will get you to the website where, like we talked about, you can purchase the flag and you get the tag and the flag. It's all yours to keep. Or if you just want to do the tag, and then we'll capture information, who you're recognizing, who's your hero, any special message you have, and then who it's from. So that's one way of doing it. The other way the community can help, candidly, is we get corporate sponsors, and we certainly recognize your service, whether it's a professional photographer that says, hey, can I do some photography service? Or, the gators that drive around to help put it in the rebar. We got Winchester equipment to donate those for free for the 4 days. If you want to donate money, that's great. We love that. But if you want to donate services, that works as well. But we'd love to see you out there. The other thing, too, that we're doing, I didn't mention, is Navy Federal's helping us. They've got a professional film crew coming out. And hearing these stories as you walk out to the flag, we're like, somebody needs to capture this. They're going to do some short oral histories if folks are willing. So with the flags flapping behind them, when somebody says, I bought the flag for my son and he was lost in Iraq or Afghanistan, tell us about your son. That video is going to be captured. And we're working with some local colleges to see if they could do that as a fall project to maybe make a short documentary or to clue these together. And then maybe next year, if we get a video wall, as the warm up to the ceremonies, you see these faces. Janet, I'll tell you, we actually filmed one oral history out at Westminster Canterbury, which is a retirement community up here. The lady sat there. She held the 8x10 glossy of her father, brand new grad from VMI, in a second lieutenant uniform, brand new in the Army. She said, I was 6 months old when that picture was taken. He went off to World War II, never came back. I'm buying a flag for my dad. And that's what we need to capture. That's what this whole Healing Field's about, is recognizing folks like that.
Let's talk about that for a second. A few weeks ago, I had on a woman who plans a Memorial Day festival in the town of Stanley up in Page County. We talked a little bit about how over the course of so many years, Memorial Day has lost its meaning, so to speak. She made the statement that their mayor in the town of Stanley says it's not about mattress sales. It's about something much bigger than that. And I think that's the other thing that this event represents is bringing back the true meaning of what Memorial Day weekend is supposed to be. It's not barbecues. It's not all of those things. It's remembering those that fought for our country that are no longer with us.
Right. Yes, it's the unofficial start of summer. And yes, the pool's usually open, but it's much bigger than that. The history of Memorial Day certainly goes back to the end of the Civil War and recognizing those that were buried all around where these horrible battles happened. But we've expanded also saying that a hero is a hero. And while most of the tags are for our veterans, it doesn't limit you to that. You define hero. You decide who's special in your life and get a tag and put it out there. And then you know that special person's out there.
And for those types of people, they may not have even necessarily have passed. So you get to present that flag to them even after the fact to say, hey, thank you for getting me through this tough time. This is something that I did to honor you, and invite them to come to the ceremony with you and be a part of the whole thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many ways you can connect families and multi-generational stuff as far as recognizing folks that are here. Grandparents can recognize grandchildren. If they got a child that's currently serving in the military, hey, get a flag for them. And I bet they'll be tickled pink that this flag's waiting next time you see them with a little tag that says, I'm proud of you and thank you for serving your country.
And there is that public attendance portion of this. So I don't want people to think as we're talking, oh, I didn't get a flag for somebody, so I can't really go. Yes, you can. You want the public to come and be part of this whole honoring ceremony.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we will put up all 800 flags. I'll be honest, some of those won't have tags on them. So folks will actually drive by, walk in and go, oh, this is cool. Then they come to the welcome tent, which is manned Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and say, I want one of those. On the spot, we'll take your credit card, we'll type up the tag, and when we walk you out to your flag, you get to put the tag on your flag. So it's not like you've missed the window. You can go to healingfieldwinchester.com anytime up to when the flags come down on Monday or Thursday through Monday over Memorial Day weekend. Just come on out and get inspired by the flag, and we'll tag it for you right there. So it's not like you've lost your window to come out. We'd love to see folks, and the walk-by traffic is phenomenal. And if the weather's good, people just walking by are like, what's going on here? And then tell me about this. And it's funny, most people assume it's Handley High School because it's on their grounds. And I tell you, they have been phenomenal hosts. It is the worst possible time for Handley. They've got graduation, I think, going on. They got baccalaureate. They've got end of year stuff going on. And we say, hey, do you mind if we plant 800 flags, a stage sound system? We have skydivers dropping in. We have airplanes flying over. And Principal Braithwaite is, sure, do whatever you need. She's a great supporter.
Well, she is a good superintendent. Jason Van Ukulum is one of my favorite people. He would be a hero that I would get a flag for because he is an amazing human being. Before we wrap up, I do want to make sure people understand just the overall concept of Rotary. I joked with you when we first started our conversation that Judy Rinker has done the show with me multiple times about all of the different things that Rotary does. I think the last time she was on wasn't that long ago. We were talking about the International Affair. So she was talking about that. And everything that Rotary does that raises money does go back into the community. All of the things that you guys do, the different events, everything, you give back to our local nonprofits in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the origins of Rotary, I don't know if you know where Rotary came from, but it goes back to Chicago in the early 1900s. A businessman was frustrated that there were no honest businessmen for him to deal with. And so he decided, I'm going to create a club of like-minded, good business people that are honest and fair and truthful, and we will meet at various locations. We will rotate where we meet amongst the owners of those companies, hence Rotary. So that still is at the foundation, is these are like-minded people that want to serve their community. We meet every Wednesday at the Winchester Country Club. We start at noon, 20 minutes of chowing and having fun, chat and chew with everybody. And then we get some announcements. We get a guest speaker. A lot of times, it's a nonprofit that comes out and talks about what they do for the community, because we may put them on our list of, hey, that sounds really good. And then we know these business people have to be out of there by 1 o'clock because they got to go back to work. So it's very compressed, very tight. But noon Thursdays at the Winchester Country Club.
Dan, thank you for taking some time today to give me some insight into this entire project, because it is quite a huge project, and I sense that it is very much a labor of love.
Absolutely. And everybody rolls into it like everything with Rotary. Yeah, you got one person like me that has sleepless nights worrying that's all going to come together, because with volunteer organization, there's a lot of moving parts. But what a phenomenal result that we have. And like I said, the stories we hear, the tags we print out, the messages we have to loved ones, seeing people just so proud to be there, singing patriotic songs on the Thursday ceremony or the Monday ceremony. That's what Memorial Day is about. And like you said, let's get back to Memorial Day being talking about heroes and talking about our nation and bringing the community together. So much pulling us apart. Let's all agree that we're proud of our country and we're proud of our heroes.
Tell me one more time the web address where people can go get more information.
healingfieldwinchester.com.
And does Rotary itself have a website?
We do. Good thing you asked that. Rotary Club of Winchester.org.
Fantastic. Dan, thank you for your service and thank you for your time.
You bet. And thanks for spreading the news, and go get another cup of coffee.
I'm definitely going to go get another cup of coffee. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, you've got things all across the Shenandoah Valley to do. I will be at Luckett's Spring Market at the Clark County Fairgrounds Friday morning, Saturday, and probably Sunday, because I have to buy all of the things for all of the reasons. But Wine and Craft Festival is going on in Front Royal as well, so if you want to do a little imbibing, you can head over to Warren County for that. Regardless of which, have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, just a few minutes after noon.